Good, good morning everyone. Myself is Kiran Mai, lecturer in physics working at Government City College. Now we are going to discuss about interference of light, division of amplitude. Interference by a plane parallel film illuminated by a plane wave. Let a wavefront be allowed to incident normally on a thin film of uniform thickness small t. The plane wavefront is obtained with the help of a partially reflecting glass plate G inclined at an angle 45 degrees with the parallel monochromatic beam of light. The plane wavefront is partly reflected at the upper surface of the film and partly transmitted into the film. The transmitted wavefront is reflected again from the bottom surface of the film and emerges through the first surface. The wavefront reflected from the upper surface and the lower surface interferes with each other. The resulting interference pattern can be observed with capital E without obstructing the incident wavefront. Consider the following 2 points. First one, the wave reflected from the lower surface of the film traverses an additional path to mu t, where mu is the refractive index of the film. And second one is, when the film is placed in air, the wavefront reflected from the upper surface undergoes an additional phase change of pi. Here it should be noted that no phase change takes place at lower surface because the reflection takes place at the surface of rarer medium. Thus the conditions of maxima and minima are changed. Now we have 2 mu t equals to n lambda, condition of constructive interference. 2 mu t equals to 2n plus 1 into lambda by 2. Condition of a constructive interference, where n equals to 0, 1, 2, 3, so on. Thus the film appears bright when the path difference 2 mu t is equal to the 2n plus 1 into lambda by 2, and dark when path difference is 2 mu t is equal to n lambda. Next, the cosine law. Let GH and G1H1 be the two surfaces of a transparent film of a uniform thickness small t and refractive index mu as shown in figure. Suppose a ray of monochromatic light be incident on its upper surface. This ray is partly reflected along BR and refracted along BC. After one internal reflection at C, we obtain the ray CD. After refraction at D, the ray finally emerges out along DR1 in air. Obviously, DR1 is parallel to BR. Our aim is to find out the effective path difference between the rays BR and DR1. Suppose we draw a normal DE and on BR and normal BF on DC. Also produce DC in the backward direction which meets the BQ produced at P. In figure, angle ABN equals to I, the angle of incidence, and angle QBC equals to R, the angle of refraction. The optical path difference between the two reflected light rays is given by delta equals to path in the film minus path B in air. That is mu of BC plus CD minus BE. We know that mu equals to sin I by sin R equals to BE by FD. BE equals to mu into FD. Therefore, delta equals to mu of BC plus CD minus mu of FD. That is mu of PF. From triangle BPF, cos R equals to PF by BP. PF equals to BP cos R equals to 2T cos R. Substituting the value of PF in delta equals to mu into 2t cos r equals to 2 mu t cos r. The optical path difference given by equation is usually called as cosine law. It should be remembered that a ray reflected at a surface backed by a denser medium suffers an abrupt phase change of pi, which is equivalent to a path difference lambda by 2. Thus, the effective path difference between the two reflected rays is 2 mu t cos r plus or minus lambda by 2. We know that maxima occurs when effective path difference delta equals to n lambda. 2 mu t cos r plus or minus 2 mu t cos r plus or minus lambda by 2 equals to n lambda, or 2 mu t cos r equals to 2n plus or minus 1 into lambda by 2. If this condition is fulfilled, the film will appear bright in the reflected light. The minima occurs when the effective path difference is 2n plus or minus 1 into lambda by 2. Now, when this condition is fulfilled, the film will appear dark in the reflected light. Next, the interference due to transmitted light. From figure, the geometry of the transmitted light. Due to simultaneous reflection and refraction, we obtain two transmitted rays CT and ET1. These rays have originated from the same point source, hence they have a constant phase difference and are in a position to produce sustained interference when combined. In order to calculate the path difference between the two transmitted rays, we draw normal CQ and EP on DE and CD. We also produce ED in backward direction, which meets produced CF at I. The effective path difference is given by delta equals to mu into CD plus DE minus CP. CP equals to sin I by sin R equals to CP by QE. CP equals to mu of QE. Delta equals to mu into CD plus DQ plus QE minus or mu into QE, that is 2 mu t cos r. Here it should be remembered that inside the film, reflection at different points takes place at the surface backed by rarer medium. Thus, no abrupt change of pi takes place in this case. The maxima occur when effective path difference delta equals to n lambda. 2 mu t cos r equals to n lambda. This condition is fulfilled. The film appeared bright in transmitted light. The minima occur when the effective path difference is 2n plus or minus 1 into lambda by 2. That is 2 mu t cos r equals to 2n plus or minus 1 into lambda by 2, where n equals to 0, 1, 2, 3, so on. When this condition is fulfilled, the film will appear dark. Thus, the conditions of maxima and minima in transmitted light are just reverse of conditions for reflected light. Next is colors of thin films. It is an experimental fact that when a thin film is exposed to a white light source, beautiful colors are observed. Suppose incident light is white and falls on a parallel sided film. The incident light will split up by reflection at the top and bottom of the film. The splitted rays are in a position to interfere, and the interference of these rays is responsible for the colors. The bright or dark appearance of the reflected light depends upon mu, T and R. In case of white light, even T and R made constant, mu varies with the wavelength. At a particular point of the film and for a particular position of the eye, the interfering rays of only certain wavelengths will have a path difference satisfying the conditions of bright fringe. Hence, only such wavelengths will be present there. Other neighboring wavelengths will be present with diminished intensity. The colors for which the condition of minima is satisfied are absent. In a similar way, we can say that if the same point of the film is observed with eye in different positions, or different points of the film are observed with eye in the same position, a different set of color is observed each time. We have shown that the conditions for maxima and minima in transmitted light are reversed that of reflected light. Hence, the color suppressed or absent in reflected light appears as intense colors in transmitted light, or colors of reflected and transmitted light are complementary. Next is non-reflecting films. Consider a layer of light traveling in a medium of refractive index mu1, that is nothing but air, is incident normally on a substance of refractive index mu2, that is glass. Let I be the intensity of incident light and IR be the intensity of reflected light. Then according to Fresnel's equations, IR equals to mu2 minus mu1 into square into I, that is IR by I equals to mu2 minus mu1 divided by mu2 plus mu1 into square. For a glass surface, air glass surface, mu1 is 1 and mu2 is 1.5. IR by I equals to 4%. This shows that only 96% of the incident light is transmitted. The optical instruments such as a compound microscope, telescope, camera, lenses, etc., a combination of lenses is employed. When the light enters the optical instrument at the glass air interface, light is lost by reflection. At a single reflection, about 4% of the incident light is lost. If the chromatic objective of a telescope is made up of 4 lenses, about 30% of the incident light is reflected and only about 70% is transmitted. These reflections losses are undesirable, especially under low intensity conditions. In order to reduce the reflections loss from the surface, a transparent film of a proper thickness is deposited on the surface. This film is known as non-reflecting film. This discovery was made by German physicist Alexander Smakula. The best coated material known is magnesium fluoride MgF2 because its refractive index is 1.38, lies between those air and glass. In general, the thickness of the coating material should be lambda by 4 into mu, where lambda is the wavelength of the light used and mu is the refractive index of the coated material. Consider the normal ray of light is incident on the film of MgF2 coated on the glass. This ray is reflected from the upper surface as well as from the lower surface of MgF2. These reflected rays interfere with each other. The path difference is 2 mu t and t is thickness of the film. It should be remembered that at these two reflections, phase reversal takes place. So, if path difference is equal to 2n plus 1 into lambda by 2, destructive interference will take place from n equals to 0. 2 mu t equals to lambda by 2, t equals to lambda by 4 mu. So, thickness of the film must be lambda by 4 into mu. For sodium light of wavelength 5893 angstrom units, the thickness of MgF2 is 5893 into 10 to the power of minus 8 divided by 4 into 1.38, that is 1.067 into 10 to the power of minus 5 centimeters. The above consideration is as shown in figure when a layer of mu t equals to mu t by 4 is coated on the glass plate. Here I is the incident ray and R1 and R2 are the two reflected rays from the upper and the lower surfaces of the film. The phase difference between R1 and R2 is given by phase difference equals to 2 pi by lambda into path difference. That is 2 pi by lambda into 2t equals to 2 pi by lambda into 2 into lambda by 4, that is pi. Thus, there will be a destructive interference and the intensity of a reflected light is a minimum. It should be noted that there is no loss of energy. For a complete destructive interference, the intensities of two reflected beams should be equal. Thus, mu minus mu1 divided by mu plus mu1 whole square equals to mu2 minus mu2 plus mu whole square. For if outside medium is air, the mu1 equals to 1. Therefore, By adding and subtracting 1 on both sides, we get mu by mu plus 1 equals to mu 2 by mu 2 plus mu. Dividing, we get mu square equals to mu 2. Mu equals to under root of mu 2. Thus the refractive index of coating material should be approximately equal to the square root of the refractive index of the glass. Next. Next is the wedge shaped film. Consider two plane surfaces GH and G1H1 inclined at an angle alpha and enclosing a wedge shaped air film. The thickness of the air film increasing from G to H is as shown in figure. Let mu be the refractive index of the material of this film. When this film is illuminated by sodium light, then the interference between two systems of rays, one reflected from the front surface and the other obtained by internal reflection at the back surface, and consequent transmission at the first surface takes place. It is observed from the figure that the interfering waves BR and DR1 are not parallel but appear to diverge from a point S. Thus the interference takes place at S, which is virtual. In order to consider the interference between these two waves, we will first calculate the path difference between them. Clearly, the optical path difference delta is given by delta equals to BC plus CD minus BF, that is mu into BE plus EC plus CD minus mu into BE. Since BF equals to mu of BE, that can be changed. Therefore, 2 mu T cos of R plus alpha. Due to reflection, an additional phase change of lambda by 2 is introduced. Hence, delta equals to 2 mu T cos of R plus alpha plus or minus lambda by 2. For constructive interference, delta equals to n lambda. 2 mu T cos of R plus alpha plus or minus lambda by 2 equals to n lambda. That is 2 mu T cos of R plus alpha equals to 2n plus 2n plus or minus 1 into lambda by 2. For destructive interference, delta equals to 2n plus or minus 1 into lambda by 2. 2 mu T cos of R plus alpha plus or minus lambda by 2 equals to 2n plus or minus 1 into lambda by 2. That is 2 mu T cos of R plus alpha equals to n lambda, where n equals to 0, 1, 2, 3, so on. Nature of interference pattern. If the light illuminating the film is parallel, then I is constant everywhere, and so is R, the angle of reflection. In addition, if the light used is monochromatic, the path change will occur only due to T. In this case, the fringes will be characteristic of equal optical thickness. Since in this case of a wedge-shaped film, T remains constant only in direction parallel to the thin edge of the wedge. Hence, their straight fringes parallel to the edge of the wedge are obtained. Thus, bright or dark fringes are obtained here as the sodium condition for the thickness T is satisfied according to the equations. Spacing between two constructive bright bands. For n maxima, we have 2 mu T cos of R plus alpha equals to 2n plus 1 into lambda by 2. For normal incidence and air film, R is 0 and mu is 1. Therefore, 2t cos alpha equals to 2n plus 1 into lambda by 2. Let this band be obtained at a distance xn from the thin edge as shown in figure. From the figure, t equals to xn tan alpha. Therefore, 2xn tan alpha cos alpha equals to 2n plus 1 into lambda by 2. 2xn into sin alpha equals to 2n plus 1 into lambda by 2. If the n plus 1th maximum is obtained at a distance xn plus 1 from the thin edge, 2xn plus 1 sin alpha equals to 2n plus 3 into lambda by 2. Subtracting, we get 2xn plus 1 minus xn sin alpha equals to lambda. Spacing beta equals to lambda by 2 sin alpha, that is where small alpha is small and measured in radians, sin alpha will be equals to approximately equals to alpha. Therefore, beta equals to lambda by 2 alpha. As the fringe width is independent of all bright fringes are equally spaced. Determination of angle of wedge or diameter of a wire. Two rectangular pieces of ordinary glass plates are taken. The wire is placed between the two plates at one end and the other two plates are tied together to form an air wedge. The thickness of the wedge gradually increases from one end to the other end. Light from a monochromatic source of S is allowed to incident normally on the combination by a glass plate G inclined at an angle 45 degrees with the horizontal. A microscope capital M is focused on the top of the wedge. Let light rays reflected from the wedge are brought to focus at the center of the crosswire. The ray reflected at the bottom surface of the top plate and partly from the top surface of the lower plate are in a condition to interfere. Here, hence alternate dark and bright fringes of equal thickness like A, B, C, D, E, F are observed. Let P and Q corresponds to the center of nth and n plus 1th dark fringe. Suppose the thickness of the film at these points be T1 and T2. For air film and normal incidence we have, so 2T1 equals to n lambda, 2T2 equals to n plus 1 into lambda. From figure, tan alpha equals to T1 by AP equals to T2 by AQ, or T2 minus T1 by AO minus AP equals to tan alpha. AQ minus AP fringe width is beta, that is T2 minus T1 equals to beta tan alpha. Therefore, from the above equations, T2 minus T1 equals to lambda by 2. That is, we get beta tan alpha equals to lambda by 2. Beta equals to lambda by 2 tan alpha, that is nothing but lambda divided by 2 alpha. Here, beta is independent of n and hence all the dark fringes are equally spaced. The crosswire of a microscope is fixed on the nth bright fringe and the reading of microscope is noted. Now the microscope is moved and the crosswire is fixed on n plus 1th bright fringe. The reading of microscope is noted. The difference of two readings gives beta. Putting the value of beta, we can determine the angle alpha of the wedge. If the wire is of a diameter small d at a distance x from the line of contact of two plates, then tan alpha equals to d by x, but tan alpha equals to lambda by 2 beta, d by x equals to lambda by 2 beta, small d equals to lambda into x by 2 beta. With the help of this equation, we can determine the diameter of the wire, which can be calculated. Next is Newton's rings. When a plano-convex lens with its convex surface is placed on a glass plate, an air film of gradually increasing thickness is formed between the two. The thickness of the film at the point of contact is 0. If monochromatic light is allowed to fall normally and the film is viewed in reflected light, alternate dark and bright rings concentric around the point of contact between the lens and glass plate are seen. Since the phenomenon was first described by Newton, That is why these rings are also known as Newton's rings after his name. The experimental arrangement is as shown in figure. L is a plano-convex lens of radius of curvature. This lens with its convex surface is placed on a plain glass plate P. The lens makes contact with the glass plate at C. Light from an extended monochromatic source such as sodium lamp falls on the glass plate G held at an angle of 45 degrees with the vertical. The glass plate G reflects normally a part of the incident light towards the air film enclosed by the lens L and the glass plate P. A part of the incident light is reflected by the curved surface of the lens L and a part is transmitted which is reflected back from the plane surface of the plate. These two reflected rays interfere and gives rise to interference pattern in the form of circular rings. These rings are localized in the air film and can be seen with a microscope focused on the film. Explanation of these Newton's rings. Newton's rings are formed due to interference between the waves reflected from the top and bottom surfaces of the air film formed between the plates. The formation of Newton's rings can be explained with the help of the figure. AB is a monochromatic ray of light which falls on the system. A part is reflected at C which goes out in the form of rays I without any phase reversal. The other part is refracted along CD. At point D, it is again reflected and goes out in the form of ray 2 with a phase reversal of pi. The reflected rays 1 and 2 are in a position to produce interference fringes as they have been derived from the same ray AB and hence fulfill the condition of interference. As the rings are observed in the reflected light, the path difference between them is 2 mu t cos r plus lambda by 2. For air film, mu equals to 1 and for normal incidence r is 0. Hence, in this case, the path difference is 2t plus lambda by 2. At the point of contact, t is 0 and the path difference is lambda by 2, which is the condition of minimum intensity. Thus, the central spot is dark. For nth maximum, we have 2t plus lambda by 2 equals to n lambda. This expression shows that a maximum of a particular order n will occur for a constant value of small t. In case of the system, small t remains constant along a circle. Thus, the maximum is in the form of a circle. For different values of t, different maxima will occur. In a similar way, this can be shown that maxima are also in the circular form. Newton's rings can be by reflected light. Now we shall calculate the diameters of dark and bright rings. Let LOL dash be the lens placed on a glass plate AB. The curved surface LOL dash is a part of a spherical surface with the center at C. Let R be the radius of curvature and small r be the radius of Newton's rings. Therefore, 2t plus lambda by 2 equals to n lambda. 2t equals to 2n minus 1 into lambda by 2 for the bright ring, where n equals to 1, 2, 3 so on. 2t equals to n lambda for dark ring, n equals to so on 0, 1, 2, 3 so on. From the property of the circle, np into nq equals to no into nd. Substituting the values r into r equals to t into 2r minus t. That is 2rt minus t square. That is 2rt. R square equals to 2rt. T equals to r square by 2r. Thus, for a bright ring, 2 into r square divided by 2r equals to 2n minus 1 into lambda by 2. That is r square equals to 2n minus 1 into lambda into capital R divided by 2. Replacing r by d by 2, we get the diameter of nth bright ring as d square by 4 equals to 2n minus 1 into lambda into r into divided by 2. D equals to under root of 2 lambda r into 2 under root of 2n minus 1. Thus, the diameters of the bright rings are proportional to the square roots of odd natural numbers, as 2n minus 1 is an odd number. Similarly, for a dark ring, 2 into r square by 2r equals to n lambda. R square equals to n into lambda into r. Therefore, D equals to 2 into under root of n into lambda into r in r, which is directly proportional to under root of n. Thus, diameters of dark rings are proportional to the square roots of natural numbers. It can be shown that fringe width decreases with the order of fringe, and fringes get closer with increase in their order. The diameters of 16th and nth dark rings are given as D16 equals to 2 into under root of 16 lambda r, that is 8 under root of lambda r. D9 equals to 2 into under root of 9 lambda r is 6 into under root of lambda r. D16 minus D9 is under root 2 into under root of lambda r. Similarly, D4 minus D1 equals to under root of 4 lambda r, that is 2 under root lambda r. Next condition is Newton's rings by transmitted light. In case of transmitted light, 2t equals to n lambda for bright rings. 2t equals to 2n minus 1 into lambda by 2 for dark rings. For bright rings, 2 into r square divided by 2r equals to n lambda, or r square equals to n into lambda into r. D equals to under root n into lambda into r. For dark rings, 2 into r square by 2r equals to 2n minus 1 into lambda by 2. R square equals to 2n minus 1 into lambda into r by divided by 2. That is D equals to 2n minus 1 under root of 2n minus 1. Thus, in case of transmitted light, the central ring is bright. The rings are just opposite to the rings in reflected light. Next is determination of wavelength of sodium light using Newton's rings. Experimental arrangement is as shown in figure. Theory: let capital R be the radius of curvature of the surface in contact with the plate. Lambda is the wavelength of light used, and dn and dn plus p the diameters of nth and n plus pth dark rings. Therefore, dn square equals to 4n lambda r. dn plus p square is 4 into n plus p into r into lambda. Lambda equals to dn plus p square minus dn square divided by 4pr. Using this formula, lambda can be determined. Procedure: first of all, the eyepiece of microscope is adjusted on its crosswire. Now, the distance of microscope from the film is adjusted at the rings with a dark center in well focus. The center of crosswire is adjusted at the center of the fringe pattern. By counting the number of fringes, the microscope is moved to the extreme left of the pattern, and the crosswire is adjusted tangentially in the middle of a clearly nth bright or dark fringe. The reading of micrometer screw is noted. The microscope is now moved to the right, and the readings of micrometer screw are noted successfully at n minus 2th, say 18th, n minus 4th, say 16th rings, etc., till we are nearer to the central dark spot. Again, crossing the central dark spot in the same direction, the readings of corresponding n minus 4th, 16th, 18th rings are noted on other side. Now a graph plotted between number of rings n and the square of the corresponding diameter. The graph is as shown in figure. From the graph, dn plus p whole square minus dp square divided by p equals to a by cd. The radius capital R of the plano-convex lens can be obtained with the help of spirometer using the formula R equals to L square by 6h plus h by 2, where L is the distance between the two legs of the spirometer and h is the difference of the readings of spirometer. Now from this we can calculate the above values. Next is Michelson's interferometer. The apparatus is as shown in figure. It consists of two excellent optically plain, highly polished mirrors M1 and M2 which are at right angles to each other. There are two optically flat glass plates G1 and G2 of same thickness and of the same material placed parallel to each other. These plates are also inclined at an angle 45 degrees with the mirrors M1 and M2. The face of G1 towards G2 is semi-silvered. The mirror M1 is mounted on a carriage which can be moved forward or backward. The motion is controlled by a very fine micrometer screw. Fine mirrors M1 and M2 are provided with 3 leveling screws at their backs. With the help of these screws, the mirror can be tilted about horizontal and vertical axis so that they can be made exactly perpendicular to each other. Capital T is a telescope which receives the reflected lights from mirrors M1 and M2. Working. Light from a monochromatic extended source capital S after being rendered parallel by a collimating lens L falls on the semi-silvered glass plate G1. It is divided into two parts. One being reflected from the semi-silvered surface of G1 giving rise to ray 1 which travels towards mirror M1, and the other being transmitted giving rise to ray 2 which travels towards mirror M2. The two rays fall normally on mirrors M1 and M2 respectively, and the reflected back along their original paths. The reflected rays again meet at the semi-silvered surface of G1 and enter a short focus telescope T. The two rays entering the telescope are originally derived from the same single beam. Hence, they are in a position to produce interference fringes in the field of view of telescope. A desired path difference can be introduced between the two reflected rays by moving the mirror M1. It can be noted from the figure that ray number 1 passes through G1 twice, whereas ray number 2 does not do so. Thus, in the absence of glass plate G2, the two paths OM1 and OM2 are not equal. To equalize the two paths, a glass plate G2 of the same thickness and material as that of G1 is introduced in the path of ray 2. Because of the nature of the glass plate, G2 is called as compensating plate. The introducing of G2 is not essential in monochromatic light, but it must be in case of white light. Looking in the direction M1 from E, one observes M1 and also a virtual image M2 dash of M2 formed in G1. Thus, the two interfacing beams come by reflection from mirror M1, and the other, which is reflected from M2, functions as if it had been reflected from. Hence, Michelson interferometer is optically equivalent to an air film between M1 and M2 dash, as shown in figure. If the distance OM1 is x1 and OM2 dash is x2, then the path difference between interfering rays is given by delta equals to 2 into x difference x2. That is delta equals to 2 into x1 difference x2 plus or minus lambda by 2. The interference fringes may be straight, circular, parabolic, etc. depending upon the path difference and the angle between mirrors M1 and M2 dash. The nature of fringes is described with the help of mathematical analysis. At the back of glass plate G1, the beam is divided into two parts. One going to mirror M1 and reflecting by this mirror at a distance x1, and the other reflected by mirror M2 dash at a distance x2. The respective displacements of a particle at O due to component waves are expressed as y1 equals to a into expression of I into omega t minus k into 2x1 plus lambda by 2, and y2 is a into expression of I into omega t minus k into 2x2 plus lambda by 2. The factor lambda by 2 is in the phase represents a change of lambda by 2 due to reflection at the mirror. The resultant displacement is given by y is y1 plus y2. Therefore, the two equations will be added. We get a into expression of I omega t into expression of minus I k 2x1 plus lambda by 2 plus expression of minus I k 2x2 plus lambda by 2. Let k into 2x1 plus lambda by 2 is alpha 1 and k into 2x2 plus lambda by 2 equals to alpha 1 minus theta. Substituting we get y equals to a into expression of I omega t into expression of minus I alpha 1 plus expression of minus I into alpha 1 minus theta. That is a into expression of I into omega t minus alpha 1 into expression of minus I theta by 2 plus expression of I theta by 2 into expression of I theta by 2. That is 2a into cos theta by 2 into expression of I into omega t minus alpha 1 plus theta by 2. The magnitude of resultant displacement y is given by mod y is under root y dash, that is 2a cos theta. Therefore, intensity I equals to 4a square cos square theta by 2. Condition for maximum intensity. Intensity would be maximum when cos theta by 2 equals to plus or minus 1. Theta by 2 equals to n pi. Half into k into 2x1 plus lambda by 2 minus k into 2x2 plus lambda by 2 equals to n pi. In terms of path difference, intensity would be maximum when 2 pi by lambda into 2x1 minus 2x2 equals to 2n pi. That is 2 into x2 minus x1 equals to n lambda plus or minus lambda by 2. Condition for minimum intensity. When intensity would be minimum when cos theta by 2 equals to 0 or theta by 2 equals to 2n plus 1 into pi by 2. Therefore, half into k into 2x1 plus lambda by 2 minus k into 2x2 plus lambda by 2 equals to 2n plus 1 into pi by 2. In terms of path difference, 2 pi by lambda into 2x1 minus 2x2 equals to 2n plus 1 into pi. That is 2 into x1 minus x2 equals to 2n plus 1 into lambda by 2 when glass plate is heavily polished. Next is types of fringes. First one is circular fringes. When mirror M2 is exactly perpendicular to mirror M1 or mirror M1 and the virtual mirror M2 dash are parallel, an air film of constant thickness is enclosed between them. The air film gives a reflected beam to interfere. The path difference depends upon the separation between M1 and M2 dash, the angle subtended on the ape, the inclination between M1 and M2 dash. It can be seen from figure that the path difference are different for different values of theta. Hence, the path difference which satisfies the condition of maxima appears bright, while the path difference which satisfies the condition of minima appears dark. Considering the equation of maxima, we find 2t cos r plus lambda by 2 equals to n lambda, that each fringe is a locus of constant r. Since the loci of a constant r are concentric circles, circular fringes are obtained. These fringes are formed at infinity, hence they are observed through a telescope focused at infinity. Second one is localized fringes. When the mirror M2 is not exactly perpendicular to mirror M1, or the mirror M1 and the virtual mirror M2 dash are inclined, the air film enclosed between them is wedge shaped. The shape of fringes depends on the thickness of the film and the angle of incidence. The shape of the fringes for various value of path difference are shown in figure. When the two mirrors M1 and M2 dash intersect in the middle, straight fringes are observed. When the two mirrors are inclined as shown in figure A and B, curved fringes with convexity towards the thin edge of the wedge are observed. These fringes are visible up to path difference comparatively much smaller than that in case of circular fringes. Third one is localized white light fringes. When monochromatic light source is replaced by a white source, then colored and curved localized fringes will be formed. The fringes of zero thickness being again perfectly dark and straight. Other fringes are colored due to overlapping of various colors. If the film is thick, uniform illumination is observed. White light fringes are useful for the determination of zero path difference, especially in the standardization of the meter. Uses of Michelson interferometer. Michelson interferometer has been used for a variety of purposes. Example, in the determination of wavelength of monochromatic source of light, to determine the difference between the two neighborhood wavelengths or resolution of the spectral lines, in the determination of refractive index and thickness of various thin transparent materials, for the measurement of the standard meters in terms of wavelengths of light, etc. First one, determination of wavelength of monochromatic light. First of all, Michelson interferometer is a set of circular fringes with central bright spot. If small t be the thickness of air film enclosed between the two mirrors and n is the order of the spot obtained, then as per normal incidence cos r equals to 1, we have 2t e plus lambda by 2 equals to n lambda. Now, M1 is moved lambda by 2 away from M2 dash, then an additional path difference of lambda will be introduced. Hence, n plus 1th bright spot appears at the center of the field. Each time when M1 moves through a distance lambda by 2, next bright spot appears at the center of the field. Let capital N be the number of fringes that cross the center of the field when the mirror M1 is moved from initial position x1 to final position x2, then n into lambda by 2 equals to x2 minus x1. Lambda equals to 2 into x2 minus x1 divided by capital N. The difference is measured with micrometer screw and N is actually counted. The experimenter is repeated at a number of times and the mean of lambda is obtained. Second one is determination of difference in wavelengths. Michelson's interferometer is adjusted to obtain the circular fringes. Let the source has two wavelengths lambda 1 and lambda 2 which are very close to each other. The two wavelengths form their separate fringe patterns, but as lambda 1 and lambda 2 are very close to each other and thickness of the air film is small, the two patterns practically coincide. As the mirror M1 is moved slowly, the two patterns separate slowly, and when the thickness of air film is such that the dark fringe of lambda 1 falls on the bright fringe of lambda 2, the result is maximum. When now the mirror M1 is further moved, say through a distance x, so that the next indistinct position is reached. In this position, if n fringes of lambda 1 appear at the center, then n plus 1 fringes of lambda should appear at the center of the field. X is n into lambda 1 divided by 2, and x equals to n plus 1 into lambda by 2, lambda 2 by 2. Therefore, by subtracting, we get lambda 1 minus lambda 2 equals to lambda average square divided by 2x. The measuring distance x moved by mirror M1 between the two consecutive positions of maximum indistances, the difference between two wavelengths can be determined. Third one is determination of thickness of a thin plate. Michelson's interferometer is set for localized fringe of white light. The cross wires are set on central fringe. Now the thin plate is introduced in one of the interfering rays. We know that introduction of a plate of thickness t and refractive index mu increases the path by 2 mu minus 1 into t. Thus the fringe shifts from their positions. The mirror M1 is now moved either backward or forward till the central fringe coincides with the crosswire. The distance x moved by mirror M1 is noted with the help of micrometer screw. 2x equals to 2 into mu minus 1 into t, or t equals to x by mu minus 1. From this equation, t can be calculated.